All right, so welcome to another video. Today I want to share with you some insight on Disney and give you some personal takes. Is it a good buy for long-term investors? Now keep in mind, none of these are recommendations to buy, sell, or trade, just my own personal opinion. If you want to grab that opinion, check out our website at tradersfly.com. And what you could do is go into the freebies section. There's a ton of great freebies around and available that you can get. You can also join the Discord channel, which is basically like a chat room. And I mentioned some things like stock movers. There's also just some general chat and just upcoming live classes and things that we might be doing. Okay, so let's kick things off here. And as we take a look at Disney here, one thing I want to point out to you is that this stock did have a nice low back in 2020, right around that $81 price point. And this stock has moved very well since that time. However, recently we've had a bit of a sell-off and slump. So a lot of stocks are pulling back. And because of that, we're seeing a little bit of problem areas. However, there are a couple of interesting points, right? Here's the first interesting point, that this stock got into the $200 price level, which is a psychological level, which means, hey, people are playing into the psychology behind Disney, and then that stock has pulled back or rejected those levels. And that was before even the Ukraine-Russia war here. So as we look into this, you can see it's been kind of pulling back for almost a full year now. So with that time to digest this downward move, the stock could be coming into some interesting levels. And here, again, we're getting into now another interesting level. Here, we've had a gap around the 2020 area. So that gap has been filled. We're also coming into a lot of technical areas where there's a lot of support and resistance that came into play. So this is becoming a very critical level for the stock. So this 130, not only is it a psychological level, there's a lot of support points that you're looking, that it's starting to kind of get hit. The other thing that I'm also noticing is sometimes as we look at the volume, you see the bullish volume that's starting to kind of increase, which means it could be picking up some people that are buying the dips or nibbling on the positions and trying to go ahead and buy on value. Here's another interesting point. You can see there's a lot of flush sellers that kind of came through here on this recent bar, and then that stock went higher for almost a good, couple of weeks or a month. So you're starting to see a little bit of that coming into play right now as well. So we came in and we're starting to bounce a little bit. Now, yes, it's early. Yes, it's only the first day kind of, but if this starts to do similar to this could be a double test, which could be kind of like a double bottom. If that's possible. You'll also notice the volume on the bear side is a lot lighter than this increase here. So there's a few points here that are making me, kind of look into this and saying, hey, is this an opportunity to kind of start nibbling and buying the dip? If you're starting to see some of these points here that I'm making, it could be an interesting play. However, you do have to take note, there are some other lower levels where the stock did get into some lower values. For example, this 110, if the stock does break this 130 and goes lower, 110 is a critical area. I think this level that we've had in 2020 was a major crash in that stock. So I think you're looking more around that 90 to 100 level, is that this is starting to become a very nice sweet spot for the stock and a really, really good value. Is at this point here for a long-term investor, because if you're a long-term investor, you probably would have held it earlier, you probably would have held it up here, and you're probably holding it right now because you're a long-term investor. So if you're looking for buying the dip or buying it on value right here at this 90 area, could it come down into those levels? Yeah, it could, but you could also go in, if you're trying to buy, let's say 100 shares, you could go in and look at buying, let's say 20 shares right now. If it goes down to 110 or 90, get another 20, get another 20, and now you're up to, 20, 40, 60 shares. And if you start seeing this kind of movement to the upside and it's starting to pick up some speed, then you could get, maybe another 40 shares, and there you have 100 shares of the stock. So that's one way to kind of approach it, is make sure you have enough cash on the sidelines to be able to nibble into this position over, maybe a 3 to 6 month period of time frame if you're trying to spread that risk. So looking at this position, you can see we've got some nice, interesting points where we're coming right into it. And it comes back even to 2019 right here, where we've got some solid levels, and we're right there. So that's my thought, is that right now it's starting to kind of get to that point where it's becoming interesting. If you're looking at kind of this upward trend as well, you can see we're kind of moving in that same angle. So here, let me clear out the deck for you. So look at how all of this is starting to line up right there. It's very fascinating where, hey, on that angle, the longer term angle, we're starting to get right there. And also on this support and resistance, we're also getting into that zone. So anyways, that's where I think this could be kind of an interesting buying opportunity. I don't think you have to rush into it immediately, but you're seeing the stock is holding kind of that price level at around 130. And yes, could it dip a little below? Yeah, just like it did earlier, got into about 129.26, and then it bounced and kind of held that, playing around a little in this area, and then finally moving to make up. So it took about 5-6 days for it to start making its way. So anyways, that's my take on this one. I think it looks fairly interesting for starting to nibble on it. It looks pretty good. If you're interested in some of the things that I talk about and you like some of these videos, definitely subscribe to the channel and take a look at some of these freebies that we have. You can get on the newsletter list, so that way you get notified as we have some live classes coming up. So we've done quite a handful of live classes here recently. And you can also join the Discord channel where we can chat and interact and do much more so. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Grab the freebies, click the link over here, subscribe to the YouTube channel, or check out the options trading channel at Traders Fly. So there's multiple channels that I have on YouTube. Anyways, thanks again, and I'll see you next time.